Hello everybody, this is my large informal upright beech. Been growing it quite a long time. It was a Father's Day present from my eldest daughter when it was just a tiny skinny slip of a thing. If you look back in the playlist of the first video in the playlist, you'll see what I mean about it being a skinny slip of a thing. It's about ready for its first trim of the late spring, early summer trim, just to cut back some of these long shoots to promote a bit of ramification and back budding, and to prevent these internodes getting too long between the leaves. You need to keep those short if you can, to keep that a convincing illusion of bonsai. So let's give you a bit of a 360 as it is. As you can see, it's quite shaggy, got branches growing off in the wrong directions. Kept that piece of wire on holding this branch down, so that's worked well so far. And so now it's just a question of some trimming, and then we'll see whether it needs any wiring or not. Probably not at this time of year, but we will see. As always, you need to keep on top of the weeding if you can. You know, they are quite small at this stage, but they will grow rapidly and they will compete with your tree for food and nutrition. Feed and water, I was trying to say. So it's always a good idea to get weeds out. Some weeds like this will have very long, deep tap roots that can also take up quite a bit of space in your pot, which could otherwise be root space for your trees, but also can get so bad they can get down, and I've even heard of them going down and blocking drainage holes, at which point your tree is in danger of drowning. So again, not something you particularly want. So get rid of those, and we'll start trimming the tree. Okay, starting with this branch, some of these haven't shot out as much as the others, and I'm going to leave those a little bit longer. So this is a job that you can do in stages. It doesn't all have to be done at once. What you will find is you can trim back a branch, and then you'll come back a few days later and you'll find some more shoots have come out. Like this shoot here is, I'm not going to touch that one, I'm just going to let that go for the time being. This piece I don't like growing straight up, but I'm only going to trim it back to here because it may be that I want to wire that come the autumn. So some will be trimmed and some won't. Where I can, I will be trimming back to a leaf pointing in the direction that I want it to grow. It sometimes looks a little brutal, but the tree will benefit from it, although they do like having the chance to throw out a few, branches every now and again. Doesn't do them any harm, certainly. At the back here, do have a bit of an issue in that this tree, this is the shady part of the garden, and this back part does get shaded quite a bit. Hence I have branches growing back towards the centre of the trunk here. I'm going to have to build a better bench. I was planning to do some construct some benches this year. Unfortunately I didn't get the wood before everything went into lockdown, otherwise now would have been an ideal time to do it, but you can't build if you haven't got the materials. So once we get out of lockdown and I can get out and get some lumber, then I plan to build a new bench further out into the garden where this tree can sit and get a bit more sun. Okay, so I'm just going to this branch, this is the grafted branch, it's taken very well and grown very nicely, so I will have to look at sorting these scars out at some point. And I'm going to take this piece of wire off because it's already cutting into the tree and should have done its job. Appears to be holding quite nicely. You can never be entirely sure until the wire's been off for 5-10 minutes when the branch is going to slowly creep back, but I think this will hold. Yeah, we'll come back as we prune round, we'll come back and look at that in a minute. As always, I'm keeping an eye open for critters and creepy crawlies that hide under the branch, under the leaves rather. Not always easy to see when you're just looking at your trees, but when you get out, get and prune the pieces off, you can, you know, have a good look for critters and creepy crawlies. My mind has gone utterly blank onto, I was going to tell you what sort of critters you often get with beech, and if I remember at a later date, then I will pop it in the description, but for now my mind has gone completely blank. I can picture them in my mind, but I can't think of the name. This leaf has obviously been attacked by something. We got some whitefly under there, some mealybug possibly. Get rid of that. Fortunately at this point in the year, if you find them on the tips and you cut them off and get rid of them, they haven't had a chance to migrate to the rest of the tree yet, and they prefer the succulent tips anyway, so you've effectively got most of the colony before it has a chance to build up. Okay, up to this one. That's looking better, a little bit tidier at least. Let's look at the crown. We have some good back budding from this portion, which will help hide this scar. This branch was bothering me if you look back at the last video. This one isn't doing as well. It's getting shaded out quite considerably by this piece above it, so I'm going to be cutting that back. But I'm going to cut the apex back quite harshly. I want it to promote back budding further down the trunk and begin to fill in some of these blank spots, for want of a better term. Okay, something has obviously been nibbling at this leaf. Don't know what, I can't see anything lurking here, so I'll have to keep an eye out for that. Maybe come out with a head torch of an evening and see if I can see what's coming out and doing the nibbling. Okay, so that's it for this tree for now. It's not a one and done operation. We'll need to come back and get some of those shoots that are only just opening and trim them back as they grow, and it'll probably need another couple of trims, or certainly another trim towards the end of the year. And little sections like this that are just bursting now will elongate and need to be cut back in. I need to fill in this quarter, this section of the tree, and I would like some back budding to fill in at the back here as well. So as always with the bonsai, it's a work in progress. They're never truly finished. So thank you all for watching, and until the next one, please do take care of yourselves. Stay safe.